The city of Springfield welcomes you to the historic Mars Theater. The Effingham Chamber of Commerce is pleased to host the May 2024 candidate.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Susan Kraut, and I'm the CEO of the Effingham Chamber of Commerce. I am by no means a Tiffany, but you are stuck with me tonight anyway. I just want to take a moment to thank you for participating today, for your commitment to education and information. And I'm pleased to introduce tonight's moderator, Nicole Buchanan, with the Effingham Herald.
Thank you very much, Susan. I appreciate that. First tonight, we have the candidates for Clerk of Superior Court, Jason Bragg and Walt Lawson. We're going to start with a 90-second introduction for each of you. Then I'm going to ask one or two questions, depending on time, which you will have 1 minute to answer. And then we will go on to your 60-second close. The other way around. Oh, that's right. You guys are getting one question, so you're going to get 2 minutes to answer it because it's a little bit more in depth and takes too long to answer quickly. Okay, so let's start with Jason Bragg with your open, please.
Sure. Good afternoon. I am Jason Bragg, and I am the Clerk of Superior Court currently. It has been a pleasure to serve you all for the last 3.5 years. Our office is, we oversee the Juvenile Court, State Court, and Superior Court, and we handle about 3,000 state court cases a year and around 700 or 800 felony cases. It's, our office also handles jury selection, and so that's one of our perks that we get to do. So again, I appreciate your support and your vote, and I appreciate your support over the last 3.5 years and hope to earn that as we move forward. Thank you, Nicole, and thank you, Susan, for hosting us tonight.
Thank you, Jason. Well, your 90-second intro.
Thank you. I would stand up, but I don't know if you noticed with Jason, we're kind of tied to the chairs. I'm Walt Lawson, born and raised here in Effingham, grew up in Guyton. Walter and Roseanne Lawson are my parents. They were also raised in the county. Grew up in the school system, graduated from Effingham. Married my high school sweetheart, April. Her parents are Pam and Clarence Morgan. That's something, you know, my background and my parents and my in-laws is something I'm very proud of. Kind of paved the way for me in my life. My two boys are here, Tyler, 13, Morgan, 8, as well as a special guest, Michael Holton. If you haven't met him, very bright young man with a very bright future. I encourage you to seek him out. But enough about myself and my background. I have 20 plus years in information technology with hardware, software, support and training, end user training. 11 years at the Sheriff's Office in law enforcement. IT admin, responsible for all the hardware, software in the office as far as training as well as on the road. Record keeping. Have since I was 17 years old, community volunteer work with the rec department. Of course, Mr. Clarence kind of paved the way for that one and showed me the way.
Okay.
So I'm born and raised here, very proud to be from here. Said it's where I was born and where I'll die.
Your time is up.
Thank you.
Sorry about that. Okay, I'm going to start the questions with Jason. Briefly describe your efforts to bring the clerk's office into the 21st century, including technological advancements that make it easier for citizens to engage with the clerk's office. You have 2 minutes.
Okay, thank you, Nicole. So over the last 3.5 years, the office has come into the 21st century. We have, when I took office, we weren't accepting credit cards. We now accept credit cards. Our office has also moved to an online database, which would allow you to search the records from anywhere. You can search, you can file, and all that is done with the technology that we have placed into the office. The jury selection has also moved to an online process, so you complete the information sheet prior to coming in. You can sign up for text notifications for the jury and be notified so that if you need to appear or do not need to appear, because a lot of times we cancel the cases beforehand. The office has hired and worked with a local vendor or a vendor to do some automation. So we have a robot in the office that is helping us accept e-filings in a much timelier fashion. So that's where we are as far as technology goes. There's not very many vendors for the Clerk of Superior Court. There's about 3 vendors in the state, and I have looked at other vendors, but again, this is the best vendor that I feel that we are with currently. So, thank you.
Great, thank you, Jason. Okay, Walt, it's your turn. Briefly describe how, if elected, you might build on these advancements or introduce new advancements.
Okay, thank you. As far as building, I think the means are there. Of course, I would like to myself look into it and see what we could do to more efficiently run the clerk's office. But something else that I would like to do is, it starts within the clerk's office. I would like to get in and, talk to the employees, not only in the clerk's office, but in the courthouse and around it. See any of their concerns, any positives, and just kind of build off of that. One thing that's of concern is the last few years, there's been some failed audits that show, not lack of training, but could use more training, with that being one. Employee turnover in the clerk's office. Just a couple of weeks ago, besides the clerk, there's 10 employees, and in the last 3.5 years, 14 have left. I would like to visit that to see, what can I do to help this become a more family-oriented, atmosphere that employees want to come to work, they want to stay, and that way we can properly train those employees to do that job. That way when somebody calls or comes to see us, we're well trained and we're more than willing to help those employees. Property tax appeals, that's something there's a backlog of. I'm gonna hit the ground running. Board of Equalization, let's figure out what we can do to get these things caught up. Kiosks throughout the county, that's something that was visited in a past election that hasn't been visited since. I would be open to looking at that as, well as anything to help the clerk's office.
Thank you very much. We're going to move on to your 60-second close. We're going to start with you, Walt, and then we'll move to Jason.
Okay, thank you.
So go ahead. Your time starts now.
Okay. Just in closing, like I said, I'm from here. I'm furthest you could be from a politician. Just today somebody told me every time I look at you and talk to you, I see your Papa Peck. That's something I take pride in. I come from a very good family. Not that Jason doesn't, but I feel very fortunate. We still go to Nana's house on Christmas, Thanksgiving, Easter. I come from a long line of truckers, teachers, servicemen. I was cutting grass at 12 years old, working at Ken's IGA at Guyton at 15 years old. I've worked in the community, I've grew up in the community, and I mean it when I say I love it, and I want to do whatever I can to better the community in Effingham County.
Thank you very much. Okay, Jason.
Sure. Ready?
Go ahead.
So I would like to just address a couple things. The audits that were supposed to have been failed through the office was not in fact failed. The auditor failed to provide an accurate statement from myself, and that is being addressed with the county commission, so we'll address that. The second thing is the turnover, as well as any office that has new administration, you're going to have turnover. We're a growing office, and this county is growing, and we are ever changing, and it's hard for people to adapt to that. So with that in mind, I would ask you for your vote and your support, your prayers. I appreciate you all showing up tonight, and if I can be of assistance, please let me know. Thank you, Nicole, and thank you, Susan.
Thank you very much. Okay. Just like last night, we would like to invite all of the candidates to stay if they want to answer any questions out front when the event is over. Grab your popcorn, make yourselves at home. We wanted to take a minute to thank the Mars Theater, obviously, for this wonderful venue to hold these, as well as Kinetic by Windstream for sponsoring this event and making it happen. So we are going to take a brief little break, and then we will come back with the tax commissioner's race. Thank you, gentlemen. here with the candidates for Effingham County Tax Commissioner's Office. We have Kelly Hoffner, Daniel Rodwolt, and Larry Tony Sapp. Candidates, we're going to begin with a 90-second intro that you will do. Then I will ask a couple of questions, and then you'll have a 60-second close. So we're going to start with Ms. Hoffner for your open. Go right ahead. Your time starts now.
My name is Kelly Hoffner. I relocated to Georgia in 2011 to raise my family, and I was a stay-at-home mom until 2018 when I moved to Effingham. First and foremost, I'd like to say I have all the respect in the world for all the candidates that qualified, because the amount of sacrifice and how overwhelming it is putting yourself out there, it's a lot. And our support system too needs to take all the credit, because our children, our family, and our friends are going through this too. So for that, I'm very grateful for the opportunity to follow my servant's heart and chase my passion for this position. Before I worked at the tag office, I worked in the private security contracting industry. I managed over 30 contracts in multiple states to the tune of over 100 employees. I had a wealth of administrative experience there, and I had some shallow end emergency management. When COVID hit in 2020 is when I got hired at the tag office. I started out as a window clerk, and within a year I was promoted to a motor vehicle supervisor. Now you can take that title with a grain of salt. I had dealings every single day in both property and vehicle tax. Some of my main responsibilities were reconciling and preparing the deposit every single day. A lot of customer escalation issues. I did a lot of training, and I wrote a lot of training manuals while I was there. That, to me, brings a unique perspective to the position. I have that firsthand experience. And last night I was at the forums, and one of the candidates was explaining pretty much that they were going home daily complaining about their frustrations, and were told, well, either quit crying about it or stand up and do something. And so that's why I'm here. I think our citizens deserve better, and I want to set a new standard. I want to rewrite the perception of the role of the tax commissioner, and I want to earn your vote.
Thank you very much. Okay, Mr. Rodwolt, go ahead.
All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Daniel Rodwolt. I'm running for tax commissioner as well. I was born and raised here in Effingham County. It's my passion and love for our community that gave me the desire to want to come and run for public office. I want to keep our community and be a part of our community in a way that I've never done before. I want to put myself out there and make our county the best that I can make it in the role of the tax commissioner. With my degree in hospitality and business management, I plan to use my experience and my know-how to come out there and give the best customer service experience that we can. I see the tax office as a place where I can step in and make an immediate and positive impact with my previous experience. The residents of Effingham County deserve to have a pleasant experience every time they come in to our office. I plan to work with our Board of Commissioners, plan to work with our Board of Education, and I plan to work with our residents to give them the best customer service that is available to us. I plan to do that by training. I plan to use my experience in sales and marketing to give our customers what they need. My passion is people, and I look forward to working with our leaders in our community and our residents. I reached out to tax commissioners around our state to get some different ideas and different perspectives for what they offer their community and their residents. I want to bring those ideas back to our county to see if it's something that's feasible for us to implement here.
Your time is up. Thank you very much. Mr. Sapp, 90 seconds.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name's Tony Sapp. I was raised here in Effingham County and spent most of my life living here. I graduated from Effingham County High School where I met my wonderful wife of 40 years, Leanne. We have two wonderful children, Will, a local musician, and Ava, who's a freshman at the UGA, studying to be a pharmacist. I chose to run for tax commissioner after witnessing firsthand several problems with the management at the tax office. With 30+ years experience in corporate management and small business ownership, I feel I'm the most qualified for this position. As tax commissioner, I would prioritize improving customer service by hiring someone available to answer the phone and questions when you call into the office. Additionally, I would engage with community leaders to help our elderly and military personnel get every tax break they're entitled to receive and make sure all of our citizens understand all of the tax policies and procedures. Lastly, I would focus on enhancing efficiency by implementing technology-driven software to reduce processing time and minimize errors in your tax bills. It's my love for the county that made me do this, and I hope to help all of our citizens and business owners. Thank you for your support.
Thank you. I'm going to start the question at the opposite end of the table with Mr. Sapp. First question is, the tax commissioner's role is often confused with the tax assessor. Describe the differentiation and tell us a little bit about the merits you bring to this selected office.
The tax commissioner role is simple. You're a collection. You collect and you pay out, and that's about as simple as it gets. The tax assessor role is they assess your property and tell each of you what it's worth and what you're going to be taxed upon. My goal for the tax commissioner's office is customer service, which I think right now we're lacking in, and leadership, which I know we are lacking in. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now, Mr. Rodwald, same question. Do you want me to repeat the question?
Please.
Okay. The Office of Tax Commissioner is often confused with the Office of the Tax Assessor. Describe the differentiation and tell us a little bit about the merits you bring to this elected office.
The most questions that I get asked while I'm out on the campaign trail are you going to lower my taxes? Tax commissioner has absolutely nothing to do with that. The tax commissioner, as Tony said, is a collection agency for the county. They also disperse the taxes around the county to the proper locations they're supposed to go. The assessors put the values on the property. The Board of Equalization sets everything to an equal value, and then the county commissioners set the budget. That's how the mill rate's set. The tax commissioner only bills, collects, and distributes. The tax commissioner is also a representative for the county as a spokesperson, as somebody that's there to talk to people in customer service. And Mr. Sapp's right, we need customer service in the office, and that should be first priority. Customer service in a lot of government offices is lacking, and I feel that we need to prioritize that in every part of our office as the tax commissioner. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Hoffner, would you like me to repeat the question?
Yes, please.
Okay. Tax commissioner's role is often very confused with the tax assessor. Describe the differentiation and tell us a little bit about the merits you bring to this elected office.
So I can definitely share that same experience where a lot of people are like, can you get rid of taxes? Can you lower taxes? Can you get rid of taxes? A lot of that is not based solely on the tax commissioner. They don't have the judgment over that. But that being said, I do believe that as a tax commissioner, you have a voice on a higher platform than the rest of the citizens do, and you need to use that voice and work in conjunction with everyone at county levels and state levels. You can press an issue. You may not be able to vote on it or set it, but you can certainly bring it to the forefront of attention better than your everyday average citizen could. The assessors, yes, they set the value. They keep record of all of the properties in the county. We take that information and we formulate the bills off of that. But I think another big note that was missed, the tax commissioner's office doesn't just collect property tax and disperse. They function as the Department of Motor Vehicles. So all year long, all day, every day, regardless of whether it's property tax season or not, we are processing customers all day and collecting tax for the Department of Revenue. So for me, customer service is huge,
Your time is up.
but also accuracy.
Thank you. Okay, with the next question, I'm going to start on this end of the table with Ms. Hoffner. The question is, the Office of the Tax Commissioner can be dynamic and fast-paced. Tell us a little bit about how you would manage this, both in your public-facing role and internally.
Well, I'm a go-getter. I thrive in the fast pace. That's why I love the job up there. There was always something new, challenging every day, and you were always learning something. It's my general rule of thumb, the second you think you're done learning something is when you failed. For me, hands-on is super important, and training. Our biggest issue, I believe, that starts with the customer service is the staffing, and there's such a high turnover rate. There is so much in-depth knowledge required to be able to function in that office that you really want a long-term employee there. And so I believe that feeding into taking care of your people, your staff, will feed into taking care of your people in your community.
Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Mr. Rodwald, same question. Do you want me to repeat the question?
Please.
The Office of Tax Commissioner can be dynamic and fast-paced. Tell us a little bit about how you would manage this, both in your public-facing role and internally.
All right. I currently manage the inventory at the Georgia Ports Authority. If any of you have ever been out there, you know how fast-paced that is. It's like stirring an ant bed and going to work in it. I've been tried by fire. I'm in it every day, and I'm ready to lead and lead by example. I won't put my employees out front and make them do something that I won't do myself. When the line gets backed up, I want to have my employees cross-train where they can come out of the back and help on the front lines to get the lines alleviated. I also plan to put a kiosk in Rincon to be able to process motor vehicle tags in Rincon. Department of Motor Vehicles puts those in, and I think that will alleviate a lot of the traffic that comes in. About 90% of the traffic that comes through there is tags. If we could take some of that off of our tellers and cross-train, I believe that will take a big step in the direction of cleaning up the long lines that are there. We also need to keep our employees happy. We need to train them to be able to handle these situations under pressure and keep a smile on their face. There's no reason to come into an office and they have to deal with somebody with a sour attitude. In my office, customer service is first.
Thank you very much. Mr. Sapp, same question. Would you like me to repeat it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Excuse me, I lost my place. Okay. The Office of Tax Commissioner can be dynamic and fast-paced. Tell us a little bit about how you would manage this, both in your public-facing role and internally.
Internally, as Mr. Rowalt says, cross-training is everything. I need everyone from myself to the most entry-level position trained to do everything. If you have someone out, you have a problem if you're understaffed. So everyone needs to be trained at every job. We'll just stop there. Go ahead.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and ask you guys a third question. It is basically a second part to this last question. So regarding the latter, your public-facing role and internally, how would you describe your leadership style, both in navigating public questions or concerns and ensuring a professional, customer-centric environment? I'm going to start with Mr. Rodewald. 1 minute.
All right. My background is in hospitality management. That's where I started. The best thing that we can do is to focus on getting the... What was the question again?
How would you describe your leadership style?
My
basically?
leadership style is hands-on and out front. I lead from the front. I don't mind rolling my sleeves up and getting my hands dirty. And I expect my employees to do the same. I have to de-escalate situations constantly, and I know there are a lot of mad people that come in to pay their property taxes. They don't understand why it's so high. So we have to create an office that's able to handle those complaints and de-escalate situations as efficiently and as quietly as possible. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Hoffner, same question. Would you like me to repeat it?
Please.
Regarding the latter, your public-facing role and internal, how would you describe your leadership style, both in navigating public questions or concerns and ensuring a professional, customer-centric environment?
I would have to say I'm also very hands-on. I take a very level-headed approach, and I take things very personally. So when I get approached with a problem, whether it's related to me or whether it's something I can directly fix or not, I'm not going to stop until I find the problem. I'm a great networker. I've created a lot of relationships in my time working for the tax office. I dealt with financial institutions every day, multiple attorneys' offices, government organizations, and I made a connection of a lot of really good building block of people that they were amazing resources you can tap into and a wealth of knowledge that you can't Google. You can't find it. You have to have those people in place. And so I'm a strong believer in hands-on, but also relying on your people, relying on your resources. If you put your trust into people and you sit down and you do the same things with them side by side, they'll respect you and you respect them, and you'll see better results at the end of the day. Happy staff is happy community.
Thank you very much. Mr. Sapp, would you like me to repeat the question?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Regarding the later, your public-facing role and internal, how would you describe your leadership style, both in navigating public questions or concerns and ensuring a professional, customer-centric environment?
My leadership style is hands-on. I manage one of the fifth largest company in the United States. At one time, we had 9,000 drivers. And at any given time, any of them could come into my office, and they did quite often to complain. I took their complaints, and if it got to a certain point, I'd pull out my wallet, show them I still had the same CDL that they did. So I'd went through everything they went through. The buck stops with me. If you come into my office and there is a complaint and you're going to complain on one of my staff, you'll come into my office, we'll work it out. There is no past. I'll take all responsibility for that office, and it will stop with me. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, to wrap up, you each get 60 seconds to do your close. We're going to start with Mr. Sapp at that end of the table. Your time starts now.
I'd like to thank everyone who came out tonight and took time out of their busy schedule to attend. Since I've lived in Effingham 50 years, I feel it's time to give back to my community by becoming your next tax commissioner. I hope my expertise will improve the office and the experience of our residents. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Rodwold, your time starts now.
I'm extremely excited about the opportunity to serve this wonderful county. I got a burning desire to come in and serve, and I think that my experience and leadership and knowledge will bring a positive influence to the tax office. I believe that I can help our community, help our employees, and tonight I humbly ask for your vote and your support. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Hoffner.
Yes, so a lot of the time I'm being asked if I'm from here, and no, I'm not. I chose to be here, and I chose to raise my children here. Effingham has that family feel that we value so much that's so hard to find. I don't have family ties in business here, and I think I can relate to many residents in that effect. I do ask you to please read my answers I submitted to the chamber in full, and I'm really, really sorry for how long they were. I really thought it was important to convey the full scope of my passion for this position and why I'm running my campaign. My signs in the yards that you're seeing, I'm very proud of those because those aren't signs and yards of people I grew up with. Those are people that I've really valued to make that connection based on my knowledge and experience and character. And that voter has faith in me. And I'm very proud of that. I think the role is very overlooked, and I understand it comes with a great responsibility, and I would love to have your vote as well. Voting's coming up soon. Early vote starts April 29th through May 17th. The big day is May 21st, so I hope to see you all at the polls, and thank you for coming out tonight.
Thank you. Thank you all very much for coming. While she's getting a photo, I'm going to remind everyone that there are questionnaires, the questionnaire she was just discussing, out in the lobby of the Mars, and there's also some available on the chamber website. Thank you guys very much for coming. We appreciate it. Next, we will have the Board of Education District 3 candidates. So everybody sit tight, go get some more of that popcorn. Grab me some while you're in there.
first, as opposed to going outside of our county for entertainment. We have excellent entertainment. The city of Springfield owns the Mars Theater, and we really, really, really do try to bring you quality, varied acts. I'd also like to mention that we have a program called Friends of the Mars. It's a corporate program as well as a personal donation program. There are flyers or brochures in the lobby that will share with you some of the things that we do and what you can do as a friend of the Mars. Primarily, the one thing that you can do as a friend of the Mars is keep our doors open, keep our sconces on, and allow us to have wonderful opportunities like this one. So let's not let the shop local movement stop at our local Laurel Street boutiques. Think about the Mars when you think about shopping local. Thank you.
Welcome back, everybody. We are now joined by the candidates for the Board of Education District 3 seat. We have Troy Lamar Allen right here to my left, and then Devin Jacoby Jones on the other side of the table. Gentlemen, we are going to start with a 90-second introduction you will do, followed by a couple of questions from me for each of you, and then you get a 60-second close at the end. Where's my popcorn? Who got me my popcorn? Nobody. Nobody. Okay. Okay, so we're going to start with Mr. Allen with your 90-second open.
Good afternoon. My name is Troy Allen. I'm a lifelong resident of Effingham County, 44 years, and born and raised in Clio, Georgia, where I still reside today with my wife, Jency, my 3 children, Jax, Jennings, and Isla Joe, who attend Ebenezer Middle School and Ebenezer Elementary School. You know, this county and this school system is dear to my heart since I was born and raised, came through the ranks and graduated here. And I think that it's one of my top priorities to continue what has been started in the tradition here and how great of a school system we have. The previous board members, superintendents have done a great job to this day, and it's something that I want to help continue to enhance. I think that safety is one of our top priorities, and I think we do a great job in our school systems with safety for our facilities, with our schools, and I think that that's just something that needs to continue to be a top priority. I think that being open-minded, working with your board members, working with faculty, staff, and being open to new ideas and be willing to change, because things are changing. And I think that being able to be collaborative with everybody is key. So I'm looking forward to hopefully becoming your board member after May 21st, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Okay, Mr. Jones, go ahead with your 90 seconds.
All right. Good evening, everyone. My name is Jacoby Jones. I'm married to the beautiful Brittany Jones, and together we've established a family of 4 beautiful children. I'm a graduate of Effingham County High School, class of 2011. I hold a bachelor's degree in business administration and a master's degree in business administration as well. I am a youth pastor at the Deliverance Church of Christ. I work for DaVita Dialysis as a facility administrator. My wife and I own a child care learning center here in the county where we're licensed for 66 children as well as a pre-K program. I'm a longtime resident of this county, 31 years, it'll be 32 this year. Our 2 oldest children attend Springfield Elementary, which is an elementary school here in the district. I want to be a voice for the children for their education as well as a servant leader for all of our county. Amongst that, I would like to be a part of the team that is the deciding factor for the future of education, not only for my children, but for the children at large. With the constant growth that we're experiencing here, I would like to see partnerships more between the families in our schools, between the school system and the industries here. I would also like to see that we would have resources readily available for our students to prepare them for the workforce and for furthering their education or trade. I would like to see and be a part of the team that will increase the support for our school system employees. Amongst all things, I would also like to be a part of the team that will expand for the mental health for our students and our system employees. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, the first question is going to be, what strategies should the school board implement to strengthen partnerships between local businesses, educational institutions, and community organizations to enhance student career readiness and opportunities to foster a seamless transition from education to meaningful employment? Going to start with Mr. Jones.
All right. As I previously stated, I would like to see more partnerships with these industries as far as our local hospital, business entities, local government offices. Knew when I was in high school they had work-based learning. My wife and I own a daycare, and we've been trying to partner with the county to get students out to prepare them to know how to write a resume, how to be able to hold a conversation, how to be able to prepare themselves for the workforce. And I think by giving them the opportunity to figure out what avenue they would like to go in and partner with the local industries. It would help them to further their education or trade, and they will come back to our county and keep building here in Effingham County.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Mr. Allen, would you like me to repeat the question?
Please.
Okay. What strategies should the school board implement to strengthen partnerships between local businesses, educational institutions, and community organizations to enhance student career readiness and opportunities to foster a seamless transition from education to meaningful employment?
Thank you. And being in the business community as I am, you know, with the industries that we have that already are existing and what is coming on now between Gulfstream, the ports, Georgia Pacific, now Saywan, Edwards Interior, who is local, we have so many opportunities for our young people to come out of school and have a really great job that is close to home. I think that we do a great job trying to prepare them for this with our partnership with Savannah Tech, College Career Academy, and I think that we have to continue that, and I think that we have to work really close with community leaders, industry leaders, to make sure that we are on top and giving the best education we can to these students who may not want to go straight to college, may want to come out and go to the workforce as they graduate. And I think if we can prepare them the best we can, coming into the workforce, they'll have better jobs, higher paying jobs, and be more successful. And I think that's, you know, but it's a collaborative effort with all our community and our industry leaders.
Your time is up. Thank you. Okay, question number 2. I'm going to start with Mr. Allen. What policies do you support that would ensure K through 12 education funds are invested efficiently and effectively to improve student outcomes and increase transparency?
Can you repeat that, please?
Sure. What policies do you support that would ensure K through 12 education funds are invested efficiently and effectively to improve student outcomes and increase transparency?
That's a really interesting question, but thank you for that. I think that, you know, the funds and the budget have to be really, really thought out, and I think that transparency is very key in making sure that K through 12 all have the right funds for the right thing, so they can get the best education possible. So, but you hit a key word in transparency, and I think that is very key, that the Board of Education is very transparent and continues to be with the public in what they do with their funds and how they support each grade level all the way through 12th grade.
Thank you very much. Mr. Jones, do you want me to repeat the question?
Absolutely.
Okay. What policies do you support that would ensure K through 12 education funds are invested efficiently and effectively to improve student outcomes and increase transparency? Excuse me.
Like Mr. Allen, that's a very tough question to answer. But what I will say is I think that we have to be strategic with how we spread the funds across the county. Obviously, once you get into the office and look at the different policies that are laid out and how funds can or cannot be utilized, I think a lot of times we judge the board based on certain ways that funds are, you know, disseminated, but we have to stick with whatever policies are in place. So I think being integral and true to every policy that is out there for how we disseminate the funds and stand on that is the best way to do it strategically.
Thank you. Thank you both for tackling that tough question. Okay, so we are going to close, and you each have a 60-second time period. I'm going to start with Mr. Jones. Your time starts now.
I want to thank all of you, thank Nicole and all of the entities that have come together to house this forum. Obviously, the short time won't give you enough information about me or Mr. Allen, but I ask that you will follow me on Facebook, Jacoby Jones, as we continue this campaign and continue to put information out on what we're running for and why we're running. And I ask that you would vote May 21st, Jacoby Jones, Effingham County, District 3.
Thank you, Mr. Jones. Mr. Allen. Time
Again,
starts now.
thank you. It's a lot of work that goes into this, and I appreciate the effort that's going into this forum. Again, I'm all about this county, this community, and this school system. I have children that have to come all the way through this, and I want what's best for all students. Safety, education, and I want to put that first. It's dear to my heart since I'm a graduate of Effingham County back in 1998. It seems like it's a long time ago. I own a business in this county, and I want to be involved in the day-to-day decisions that come about to continue to make our school system what it is today and how great it is. And please vote May 21st for Troy Allen. Thank you.
Thank you, gentlemen, both of you very much. We are going to close this, and then the next group up is going to be the candidates for state court judge. Thank you both for your time this evening. Okay, everyone, welcome back again. Now we have the candidates for state court judge. Sitting here with us, we have Melissa Milton Calhoun, Stephen R. Yeckel, and John Raymond Dickey. We're going to start with a 90-second intro from each of you, followed by a couple of questions you have 60 seconds to answer, and then a 60-second close at the end. We are going to start with Ms. Calhoun with your 90-second open.
Boy, when they said we can't see anything, we cannot see anything. I have, unlike so many of the others, I did not grow up in this area. I actually chose this area, and I have been here for 24 years. We been married to my husband Wally. He was with the 165th for 32 years. He was with SEMA after that, and now he is on his second post-retirement job, and if that doesn't work out, he's going to find a third very soon. But we've got two boys who are here in the audience with me. Unfortunately, my husband couldn't be, or I can't see him, and because of work. I've been practicing law for 35 years. I probably shouldn't have said it this way, but we're like the geriatric crowd. We're all the older ones here. You got a lot of the younger people out there for the candidates, but we're the ones with more experience, and we've been in our practices longer. I've been in everything from a solo practice, I've been in 2 partnerships, one that was in Illinois, and I gave it up to come down here with my husband to live. And then I was for one term the juvenile court judge, and then for only, I think it was about 2 months, a solicitor when Mr. Rafter and Mr. Bronson left those positions.
4 seconds left. Go ahead. Time. Apologies. Okay, next will be Mr. John Raymond Dickey in the middle here. Go right ahead, sir.
Thank you. Raymond Dickey, I'm 59 years of age. I was actually born in Statesboro, but grew up in and around Effingham County all my life. I am married to Stacy Key Dickey. We have 2 children, 2 boys, Ronnie Dickey and Ryan Dickey. Ronnie graduated or went to school here in Effingham, so did Ryan. Ronnie graduated for Georgia Southern with a nursing degree, worked as an ER nurse in Effingham Hospital for a period of time, and now he's in his last semester of law school at Mercer. Ryan is also attending Georgia Southern to obtain his degree. We've lived here for over 30 years in the county itself. We grew up with family members that live in the county, and it's a wonderful place. It's a safe place, has wonderful schools, and that's one reason why we wanted to settle in this area versus Bullock County or Scriven County. My education is I've got a Bachelor in Science and a Juris Doctorate degree, and I'm licensed with the State Bar of Georgia. I have been practicing law for over 33 years.
Your time is up. Thank you very much, sir. Okay, Mr. Stephen Yeckel, Steve Yeckel. Go ahead, your time starts now.
Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being here tonight. I am your state court judge. I proudly served since June 22nd, 2022. I'm a resident. I've been here for 25 years. My 2 youngest children were raised here, attended school here in Effingham County till they went to Georgia Southern. My son graduated with a criminal justice degree, and he is now a police officer with Statesboro Police Department. My daughter is a junior at Georgia Southern. She's on the extended plan. I'm not sure when that's going to end. I'm a former Little League baseball coach. I assisted in soccer, former usher captain in Compassion Christian Church, as well as vice president of Effingham Heroes, which promotes the first responders. But the main thing I wanted to address to you, 4 47% of all DUIs were dismissed or reduced for no reason prior to my taking office. When I took the bench, I immediately implemented a policy that the Solicitor General will state a reason if a DUI cannot be prosecuted. That reason will be stated in open court, as Mrs. Calhoun is familiar since she served previously, as well as that form will state the reasons, and it will be filed in the record for the court so everyone can understand why that action was taken. Also, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very proud to tell you we started a domestic violence docket. That is to ensure that the that the victims.
Your time is up.
Well, that's
Thank
quick.
you very much. I know that was quick. Seems like 90 seconds is forever. It's really not. Yeah, right. We should discuss that back there first. Okay, now I'm going to start with the questions, which you have 60 seconds to answer. The first question, I'm going to start with Mr. Dickey in the middle. I apologize. Okay, as a state court judge, how would you ensure that your personal biases do not influence your decision-making process? And what steps would you take to uphold the principle of equal justice under law for all the individuals who appear before you?
That basically comes down to a question of integrity with the person. And in that situation, it's vitally important that that person be impartial and fair and listen to all of the issues involved, whatever type of case that would be. That person, the judge, holds a tremendous amount of power, and that affects people's lives beyond irreparable damage if those decisions are not correct. And so a judge should be one of, or a person of a temperament, possessing those qualities which involve honesty and integrity and experience. And those are the things that you would have to rely upon in order to make tough decisions as you're guided by the law, state law of Georgia.
Thank you very much. We appreciate your answer. Ms. Calhoun, would you like me to repeat the question?
Yes, please.
As a state court judge, how would you ensure that your personal biases do not influence your decision-making process, and what steps would you take to uphold the principle of equal justice under the law for all individuals who appear before you?
The first is we are governed not just by our character, but there's also the ethics that we take an oath to. And with that, we are required, if there is a conflict or even the appearance of a conflict, that we should be recusing ourselves from those cases. And in doing so, then the people that are coming in, if they don't have trust in us, and if they do not have trust in the process, then we're doing a disservice to the entire county. Words get passed around, comments are made, and the courts need to have, we're not perfect by any means, but we need to have a adherence to, as Mr. Dickey said, integrity and character. And it's not just what you say when everybody's watching, it's also what you do when not everybody's watching.
Thank
you.
you.
It's the same thing.
Thank you very much. Mr. Yeckel, would you like me to repeat the question?
Yep, please.
Okay. As state court judge, how would you ensure that your personal biases do not influence your decision-making process? And what steps would you take to uphold the principle of equal justice under the law for all individuals who appear before you?
Well, I agree with what Mr. Calhoun indicated as far as there is a conflict in any way, then the judge has to recuse himself. I treat everyone who appears before me the same, with dignity and respect, regardless of whether you are pro se or whether you're represented by counsel. It does not make any difference. I think it also goes, as indicated, to the credibility of the individual, and also that this court is for the people. It's open to all persons. And everyone can come in and observe what takes place to determine whether that justice is meted out as required. We do make tough decisions. We do have to sentence people. We do have to handle cases that sometimes are undesirable, but that's the oath we take. That's the oath I pledge to, and that's the oath I will uphold. Thank you.
Thank you. Question number 2, I'm going to start with Ms. Calhoun on the other end. How do you plan to balance the need for judicial independence with the responsibility to uphold the values and laws of our society when faced with contentious or politically charged cases?
Politics should not have a strong stance in the courthouse. Politics sometimes do have an overlap, and they shouldn't. We, as judges, have to abide by the law. The law is blind to the politics. The law is blind to, I know so-and-so. That all has to be taken out. We, as a community, are entitled to have a fair hearing just with the evidence that's presented in court. As Judge Eckel pointed out, the courtroom is open to everybody, but we also have to have it where what's taking place outside of the courtroom does not influence what takes place in the courtroom. And those are things that really need to be taking place. And we all have to abide by the rules of ethics, and that is what people rely upon, and they're entitled to that, period.
Okay. Thank you very much. Mr. Dickey, this question is for you. Would you like me to repeat the question?
Yes.
How do you plan to balance the need for judicial independence with the responsibility to uphold the values and laws of our society when faced with contentious or politically charged cases?
The issue with that, obviously, once again, is integrity. Politically charged cases that involve situations that attempt to influence the judiciary is an issue that brings into question the court's confidence from the public. And that is always a serious issue because the public needs to have confidence in that judiciary. A judge must be willing to follow the law, administer justice, and once again, have to make those tough decisions based on the evidence that's presented in court and not be influenced by social media or outside influences.
Thank you very much. There's someone talking on their phone.
No. Can we ask them to stop?
Yes, is everything okay? Okay, we're okay. Apologies for the delay.
All right.
Okay, Mr. Yeckel, would you like me to repeat the question?
Yes, ma'am, because we had that pause.
How do you plan to balance the need for judicial independence with the responsibility to uphold the values and laws of our society when faced with contentious or political cases?
Well, as everyone else has indicated, really the only answer is that what happens outside does not matter. The only thing that controls, as far as a jurist is concerned, is the evidence that's presented in court. There's an expression that goes around that says, you know, when the circus comes to town, that's not something we're concerned with. And I intend to treat everybody with dignity and respect, irregardless of whatever the social media is concerned, whatever the implications are. When I make that decision of whatever ruling that the court makes, it's going to be based on the evidence presented by the parties, and it's not going to be based on any social media or any influence from any other person or organization. That's the oath I take. That's the oath I strive to. Thank you.
Thank you. Now we're going to move on to your 60-second close. We're going to start with Mr. Raymond Dickey in the middle. Your time starts now.
Thank you. Thank you to the Chamber for this opportunity. Once again, during my 33 years of practicing both civil and criminal cases that entire time, I've dedicated my career to treating others the way that I would want to be treated. I possess the temperament to treat people fairly and impartially. I'm running to bring my experience, integrity, and honesty to the bench while serving the citizens of Effingham County, hopefully as their state court judge. It's my experience and character that would allow me to be the best candidate for this job, and I would appreciate your vote.
Thank you. Mr. Yeckel, your 60-second close.
Yes, ma'am. Once again, also to thank the Chamber and Kinetics for the sponsor of this event. You'll have a brochure that somebody will hand to you, so I'm not going to go over it since we got such a short period of time. But I've tried over 500 cases, civil and criminal, 50 murder cases and 2 death penalty cases, as well as serving as a pro tem judge for 14 years prior to taking the bench in June 22nd, 2022. What I do as a judge now, and as far as I'm concerned, is also, for most of the concerns, if someone appears before me, I don't consider state court to be revenue producing. If you come in, I'm going to adjust your speed so you will not report it. Your insurance rates are not going to rise, and you don't receive any points on your license if there's no significant traffic history. If you cure the defect on a non-traffic violation, I'm going to make it a warning. Anything above that, then something else the court will have to address. Thank you. I ask for your vote and your participation.
Thank you. We'd like to thank you all for your time this evening and giving us a little bit of an insight on your campaign. The next group up is going to be the Ogeechee. Oh, I'm so sorry. Oh, Ms. Calhoun, I sincerely apologize.
That's okay.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
I live with 3 men in the house. I get ignored. So
Right, exactly. Oh, I'm so sorry. Bless your heart. Okay, I'm going to be quiet for a minute so that Ms. Calhoun can do her 60-second close. Go ahead, ma'am.
First, I apologize to Raymond. He's not quite at 60, but you're still at the AARP level, so you're good. One of the things that I think needs to be more so is I personally believe that we cannot state exactly what fines are going to be and that. That's my personal opinion. But I think that what we need to do is address the underlying issues. We've got some people who cannot, we don't want to see people repeat and repeat and repeat on their actions. We want to push them, if need be, into the direction they need to be to, so that they remedy and think about what they're doing rather than, hey, here I am again. You know, our frequent flyers, it needs to stop. You take away a license, trust me, people are driving without licenses. They have to get it. They have to get to a program or something else where they understand that it is not acceptable and here are the consequences. And, you know, you can't take a frying pan upside their head, but something has to happen that they realize that it is not the way that they need to be operating. So I think that the court needs to do that. And and one thing is, if everybody, even if you don't vote for me, please get out and vote. Okay. Because, you know, they said you can, don't have a fit if you don't get out there and actually vote. So
thank you very much.
Thank you.
And again, I sincerely apologize.
Oh, you're good.
Welcome back, everyone. We are now here. We have been joined by the two candidates for the Ogeechee Circuit District Attorney's Office. We have Mr. Robert Busby and Miss Daphne Totten here. We're going to start with a 90-second introduction that you can both do. We will then answer 2 questions that you have 1 minute to answer for each, and then a 60-second close at the very end. So we're going to start with Ms. Totten for your 90-second intro.
All right, thank you. All right, good evening. My name is Daphne Totten, and I'm the current district attorney for the Ogeechee Judicial Circuit. For those of you that may not know, my job entails covering 4 counties, including Effingham, Bullock, Jenkins, and Screven. As you know, Effingham is a huge county, a growing county, and Bullock and Effingham comprise about 90% of the caseload that my office handles. I've been in the office since 2003, so that means I've been in the office almost 21 years. And prior to becoming the district attorney, I served as chief assistant DA under Richard Mallard, who was your district attorney for 24 years. And as chief assistant, I helped supervise and oversee the daily operations of the office. When I started in 2003, we had 7 lawyers, and we've now grown to 15 attorneys and a staff of over 40. And I believe that my prior experience as a career prosecutor is the foundation of my qualifications to be reelected this term.
Thank you very much. Mr. Busby.
Yes, my name is Robert Busby. I'm an attorney practicing in Statesboro, which is part of this circuit. I live there with my wife, Erica, and our 2 children, Theodore, who's 5, and Corbett, who is 1.5. I've operated my solo practice for 10 years now. I do exclusively criminal defense now. Though I've dabbled in a little bit of everything. I prefer to be in the courtroom, and as DA, that's something that will be important to me, is that I'll have a caseload, and I'll be in there handling cases. Being a solo practitioner means you're a small business owner, and you learn a lot being a small business owner. You know, the buck stops with you. You've got to make the budget line up. There's no taxpayers to go to for more money if you run out. And you've got to provide excellence for your clients, or you'll go out of business really quick. And I want to bring that work ethic and that mentality to the district attorney's office.
Thank you. I'm going to start the questions with Mr. Busby first. The first question is, as district attorney, how would you balance the pursuit of justice with the need for rehabilitation and support for individuals struggling with mental health or substance abuse issues?
That's an excellent question. Actually, I was having this discussion with a constituent recently. I think, like most people, substance abuse in particular has touched my family, my extended family, and what I've seen in my practice, and then with the people that I know, is that if you don't address that underlying problem, you're just setting yourself up to repeat the same thing over and over again. You can lock somebody up. As soon as they get out, they're going to reoffend. Lock them up, reoffend. You need treatment, and it's an interesting issue because you can't force someone to get help. And so you've got to draw the line at some point, but you really have to push people towards treatment. And then mental health, unfortunately, a lot of people are just going to have to live with that for the rest of their lives. But again, I think, mental health institutions are probably the better place for them, where they can get care.
Thank you very much. Ms. Totten, same for you. Would you like me to repeat the question?
Please.
As district attorney, how would you balance the pursuit of justice with the need for rehabilitation and support for individuals struggling with mental health or substance abuse issues?
All right. So some of you may not know, we have an accountability court program that we've had in place for over 22 years in the Ogeechee Circuit. We started just with a drug court in 2002, and then we added a mental health court about 10 years after we started drug court. And our drug court and mental health court, we have gotten better every year that I've been here in the circuit. We have a court that meets here in Effingham County and Bullitt County, and we serve about 100 participants at a time, and it is voluntary. Anybody can refer someone to drug court, defense attorney, prosecutor, jail staff, family member, but as Mr. Busby mentioned, it has to be voluntary. They have to agree to participate. Our graduation rate from our accountability courts is 42%, which is about 20% higher than the state average. So the people that need the help, they're the true addicts and users, are going to drug court. Again, they have to voluntarily choose that path. We always could use more resources in the community. With mental health court, we need lots more resources, but we have a program that's already in place that's working well.
Okay, thank you very much. Okay, Ms. Totten, I'm going to start with you with this second question. What strategies would you like to implement to improve trust and collaboration between law enforcement and the communities you serve? And how do you plan to hold law enforcement and prosecutors accountable for misconduct or abuse of power?
All right. So I think that's like a three-part question if I call it on. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, so as far as strategies to work with law enforcement, so we already currently do a lot of training. That's something that we've always offered to agencies, but I feel like under my leadership, we've done even more of that. And what I mean by that is we go into the departments, the sheriff's office, the police departments, and we actually do training with the officers on specific topics that they request, and also things that we see that may be needed, especially like with Rincon Police Department. It's had a lot of growth in recent years, and so they may have a lot of new officers in patrol that need just basic training. So I would just continue those strategies. We try to do one-on-one conversations with officers if there's ever problems with cases. If there's a case that doesn't have sufficient evidence, those cases get dismissed before they're ever presented to a grand jury. And then the last part of your question was holding people accountable. I think you said in law enforcement as well as, what was the other part?
Law enforcement and prosecutors for misconduct or abuse of power.
Okay, as far as prosecutors, there's 51 circuits in the state of Georgia. We are the Ogeechee Circuit, so we're one of those 51, and I was one of 22 elected DAs that signed on and supported Governor Kemp and Speaker Burns and the others that drafted that legislation. So I very much believe in holding prosecutors accountable. If you look to Savannah or Athens and a couple other circuits around the state, you'll see DAs that aren't doing their job. We're doing our job here. But I believe in holding prosecutors accountable. Same with law enforcement. If there's misconduct, then those cases are investigated by the GBI or by other law enforcement agencies, and they're referred to our office, and those are presented to a grand jury, and they make the determination of whether or not any charges should be made. So we would uphold our oath of office and do what the law requires of us.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yes, I was just going to say. We will give Mr. Busby 1 minute and 50 seconds. That was a very long question, so that is fine. Okay, would you like me to repeat the question?
If you would, please.
Okay, what strategy do you plan to implement, to improve trust and collaboration between law enforcement and the communities you serve? And then how do you plan to hold law enforcement and prosecutors accountable for any misconduct or abuse of power?
Okay. For collaboration, to answer the first part of the question, as part of this campaign, I've gone around and talked to law enforcement throughout the circuit, and one of the complaints that I got from law enforcement was that, when they're investigating a case, because of the structure of the office, they don't know who their prosecutor is going to be. That's a new thing that was implemented during the incumbent's term, where instead of assigning ADAs to a specific agency, they're assigned to a judge. And so if you're working a case, you don't know who your ADA is going to be until the case is finished and warrants are sworn out and it's assigned to a judge, and then it's assigned to it, then you get your ADAs. Of course, in addition, I would want to have an open door for law enforcement. I want to have a good working relationship, and that requires trust And, you know, in my experience, I have a lot of faith in the law enforcement in this circuit. And, you know, I would certainly, if there was misconduct that was found, I would hold them accountable. But, you know, we're very lucky to live in the time that we do, where we've got body cams and recordings, and, you know, in most cases, you know exactly what happened. And, but yeah, nobody's above the law as far as I'm concerned.
Thank you. Okay, now we're going to move on to your 60-second close. I'm going to start with Ms. Totten and then Mr. Busby. Go ahead, Ms. Totten, your time starts now.
All right. First, I'll just say that I failed to recognize my husband, Dirk. He's here with me tonight, but he and I share one daughter who is 8 years old. Her name's Kendall Lilly. My accomplishments during my first term that I'm really proud of are we've got a 100% conviction rate in murder cases here in Effingham. We've had 4 that have gone to trial. One of those was a guilty plea to life in prison, and 3 of the ones that went to trial got life without parole. 1 got life in prison. But we do have an open door policy, we've got an open file policy, and we've got a great relationship with law enforcement. That's something I'm very proud of. I think if you speak to your police chiefs and your sheriff and others, they'll tell you that we've got a great relationship, and they call us all the time. When we got the 4th judge, who was Ronnie Thompson, we did move to a system where we follow judges. Previously, we would follow an agency, but if I had my attorneys follow an agency, that means they would literally all be in court every single day. And the way that we do it now is how most of the other 50 circuits do it around the state, where they follow judges. We've got supervising attorneys in the office, and these officers, they know who to call. My cell number's on my business card, and they've got the numbers of my staff, and they call them on a daily basis to assist in drafting search warrants and so forth. And so I would disagree with my opponent in that that's not a complaint that I've heard. I've met with every sheriff and every police chief, and I do that regularly. And we've been 5th out of 51 circuits in opening and closing cases. And, you know, as I said, we've got 100% conviction rate murder cases here, and our overall conviction rate, when you consider pleas and bench trials and jury trials, is 99.4%. So we have one of the best offices in the state of Georgia. I'm very proud of it, and I would ask that you vote for me on May 21st and follow us on Facebook and our website and keep up with the things that we're doing throughout the campaign.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And again, we're going to allow a little bit extra time. How much? 54 to Mr. Okay, 1 minute and 54 seconds. Your time starts now, Mr. Busby.
Okay. Well, as I mentioned in the open, my family and I live in Bullitt County, but I've really enjoyed over the last 2 months coming out to Effingham. I've been all over from, you know, Bloomingdale to Guyton to Springfield. I really enjoy being over here, and I certainly want to spend. The fact is, Effingham is a fast-growing community. It is, if I understand the figures correctly, growing at about twice the pace as Bullitt County, and I think it deserves co-equal attention with Bullitt County in this circuit. So I'd want to spend a lot of time here when I get into office, and you know, I hope you guys will check out our Facebook and our website and reach out to us. I'd love to come out and visit anyone in Effingham County that wants to hear from me. I've already been, as I said, all over, and I really like it here. So.
Thank you very much. We certainly appreciate both of you coming out tonight to give us a little bit of insight into your campaign. And I'm going to turn it over to Susan. I appreciate you guys fixing my small error a minute ago. Much appreciated. Have a lovely evening, and thank you for coming.
That's a very engaged audience when they catch it and they call you out on it. So, so much appreciation. Of course, again, to all of our candidates for their time, effort, and their energy. to the Mars Theater for hosting and providing all of the production that so stumps the chamber. So we're very grateful for their technological savvy. We are grateful, of course, to the Effingham Herald for serving as the moderator and asking these wonderful questions. And then, of course, our sponsor, Kinetic by Windstream, who makes this possible to even put all of this on and to provide this to you. But the big thanks goes to every single one of you who are here today because you want to understand, you want to hear from these candidates. We know that we're offering you just a snippet of what they have to say. So we encourage you to engage outside of this opportunity and, of course, to visit the Chamber's website to read those questionnaires in their entirety. And, of course, as always, if anything, reach out to your candidates, reach out to the Chamber with questions. Thank you very much, and good night.